Hello guys, and welcome back to a brand new series of Entre Nous. Very special episode today because I've got the honor of having the founder and CEO of France's largest property website, Green Acres. Benoît Galy is going to talk to us about today an overview of the market, trends, what the Green Acres can do for you as a buyer, and of course his personal story and what he plans to do with his website moving forwards, and of course all of the facilities and tools that you can use already on his website. And some really exciting stuff from French Connections HCB with a new partnership with Benoît and his team to come. Please don't forget, if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us make more of these videos and of course encourages us to create more content that you might like to watch. So thank you in advance for doing so. Equally, if you're interested in finding out how French Connections HCB can help you move to France, don't hesitate to go in the description box below and book your free appointment with one of our consultants. Hey, Benoît, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. And thank you for actually hosting us in the head office of Green Acres.
Hi, Richard. I'm really pleased to welcome you and the French Connection HBC team here today in our office in Paris.
Awesome. Yeah, it's such a great location. Hopefully people can enjoy the views today as well. I want to start this section, really, and we'll go into more details about several things, but I'm really keen to understand from you the overview of the market trends. I think a lot of our viewers watching will wanting to understand what Green Acres offers as a platform, and I guess how it caters for international buyers, especially American buyers, because we know most of our viewers from the US and they're used to a MLS system. So what does Green Acres offer?
Yeah. First, Green Acres is a company I created 20 years ago. And from start, the focus was on helping foreign buyers buying in France. And now we are operating in France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Greece for our main market and launching in new countries. And specifically, we started with the English custom. So we took all the Ryanair destination and called the real estate agent. At that time, it was 20 years ago, and tell them, oh, we are building a website for our English buyer at that time. And with the English buyers came also the American buyers, and then we translated the site in 21 languages. Wow. And so now we are the leading portal for foreign buyers in the south of Europe, whether you want to buy in France, Italy, Greece. And of course, two main markets are France and Spain, which are big markets for foreign buyers, and also specifically for American buyers. So we are a real estate website. We are a portal like in the States, Zillow. I mean, if we were in the States, we would be competing with Zillow. And the specificity of the French market is that you don't have an aggregator on MLS like in the United States, but that's where we come into play to propose a selection of property from 2,000 distinct real estate agent or real estate networks, agent networks in Europe, so as that are focused on what we call secondary houses, even if it's for a primary house, because we have a lot of retirees that want to buy a house in France, even some French buyers that wants to buy a house in France, but not in Paris, in the countryside. And so that's what we are doing at Green Acres. We are putting you in contact with local experts who are real estate agents who have selected our platform because they want to attract the foreign custom. So the agent is the people that are paying us for putting their listing online, and we provide our service for free to our visitors that are coming at greenacres.com, and we try to provide the best or one of the best service to search for a house in France when we are a foreign buyer. So everything is done in English. And when you contact a real estate agent, you know that you will be in touch with someone who is used to work with the English custom.
So it's really from the very beginning. focused on the English speaking user.
From, to be precisely exact, from day 2. First day I tried if there was still room for a general website in France, and we have many competitors that had raised a lot of money. I launched a company by myself with my engineer sparing. So I started small, and hopefully the company has been successful in 20 years. But yes, we are really the main website for foreign buyers in France.
Most definitely. I've used you, as I mentioned myself, many times for selling properties that I had, or for even just browsing.
And were you happy with the service?
Yeah, I was. I think it was, for me, it's always I'm a marketing guy, so I like the aesthetics, I like the green, I like the colours, and the simplicity as well of the website was always something that I thought was great. And I guess because most of our viewers are used to being in the US with the option to basically see every single property in one space, this is as close as you're going to get to that in a way. One thing before we close on the kind of market overviews, and we can jump into other parts and the story of Brilliant Acres, and I think where I'm really keen to hear from you is where it's going in the future as well. But have you noticed an increase in American buyers post-elections? What does that mean? What does that look like even for you? Because you're not selling the property, you're just listing it, right? So.
That's a very good question. We have seen on Green Acres an increase in the number of requests on our website from American buyers by 64%.
Wow.
So that's a lot. It stopped 2 months ago, but we have seen that increase during all the year 2004, and with the new with the new tariff war, which is just coming to an end. So we expect that to come back. We see that the American buyers are paying attention to their national context.
Yep.
And we even did a survey, and we had 109 answers that told us at 60% that the fact that they were looking for a property in Europe was in part generated by the political context in the United States. So the exact question was did Trump election play a role in you looking for a house in the south of Europe? And 60% of people answered yes. Okay. So that's huge.
And today, I know you've got these stats, we don't need to go into them, but in 2024, you were saying that there's kind of the first time that Americans have, and there's certain areas as well that they're buying in.
So we have seen two things, but maybe we are in advance because the transaction, people are looking on our website, on Green Acres, and we are measuring the number of requests being done by American buyers. If you look at the number of transactions between 2023 and 2024, that's the same level of transaction from American buyers. There is, which is quite good because if you look at the French market, it went down by 10%. So in fact, the foreign market is still stable, and a slight increase in number of volume of transaction in euro. So that's a global trend, a market that has been quite good despite all those issues with the interest rates that have increased due to the inflation. They are going back now, so the market is going easier. And if we look at the projection for 2025. It seems to be really good because we have a good demand. In terms of location, we have what we see on our website, but we also took external data from the French notaries to have a complete study. And what we see is that the American buyers, they are buying in the Alpes-Maritimes. So American people listening to the podcast might more known cities like Cannes and all the Côte d'Azur and Nice and Paris. So that's Paris was the main city, and now it's Nice. So Nice
and the southwest, where we're both from.
Yeah, exactly. So I was glad to learn that you were also from the southwest, from the Lot-et-Garonne. And
just above the Gers.
Yes, exactly, below the Dordogne, and the Périgord. And yes, there are more choice. So if you look at one specific department, it's not that much. But if you aggregate all the departments in the southwest of France,
it's quite
it's
because it's a big spread area.
Yes, exactly.
L'Occitanie is now, as it's newly called,
exactly.
It's such a big, and it's one of the leastly populated areas in the Gers, for instance. It's a big department.
So we have aggregated a lot of requests in those departments, and so typically the Périgord is the leading trend.
And you were saying, interestingly, not necessarily just ready to buy houses; these are renovations as well.
So on our website, we don't measure exactly what people are doing after because they're in touch with the agent. What we know from our experience is that you have a lot of buyers that comes to France to buy a property that they will transform in a gîte, or they will make this building live a second life.
Yeah.
So it depends. If you are buying in the Côte d'Azur, it's not brand new program. It's never a brand new program on Green Acres, very rarely. But it's an apartment, and you just have to.
You move in.
You move in with your suitcase, and that's good. And if you buy in the southwest of France, you have plenty of charming farms that you can rehabilitate, and people enjoy doing that, and this brings a lot of value to the southwest because thanks to all the English and American buyers that have been there for now decades, you have a real cultural life in small towns that would be else
part of French Connection's responsibility in the Gers.
You can claim for that. Yes.
Probably brought quite a few. And so that's interesting in terms of destinations. You kind of think Paris, Nice is like the two things, but it is, we're seeing it as well. It's really wide in that spectrum. Moving on to the kind of cross-border stuff, and obviously that's why we're going to start working together as well. Is there anything in terms of when you're building your website, adding features? People are doing this at a distance. How have you responded to that? There's a new feature on your website.
Yeah, exactly. So I stay an engineer, so I'm always thinking of how can I automate things and how can I make my website more useful to our visitors. And we launched a new feature. We work on it for nearly 2 years. And we launched a feature that is here to help people find the region they want to settle in. And so the basic idea is that we realized that our visitors were not like on the main portal. If you're an American and going on Zillow or a British going to Rightmove, the first thing you are being asked is, what is the postal code? Or what is the city name where you want to settle? Well, if you want to buy an American that want to buy in France, God, I don't know. Tell me. And so that's what we are doing with this new feature. If you go on the website, you click on Guide Me, and we will ask you, oh, Richard, do you like to be close to the sea? Oh, okay. What is a good duration for you to go to the sea? Or do you prefer to stay at a place that is calm? And the beauty of what our tech team has developed is that you can combine all those criteria. And you can combine them, but it's criteria in terms of traveling time. So you can say, oh, I like to play golf. So I want my house to be at 15 minutes of drive of a golf club. And at the same time, I want to be in a place that is quiet. One of the frequent requests that we have many people saying, oh, I want to retire in France. And therefore, I want some place very calm with no one around, but I want to be less than half an hour from a hospital if there is something. So we see that for people that want to retire, but we also see that for young people that want to settle in because...
A school or a job.
Yes. My children, if there is anything, I want to be in an hospital quite rapidly. So we have those kind of usage, and then we have I think around 20 features. So if you like climbing, if you like, even in terms of religion, you can say, oh, I want to be near a church, or I want to be near whatever your religion is. You're just entering, and we will provide you with the properties that match all your criteria.
Really
so
cool.
Where do you want to live apart from the Jersey?
Well, that's it's
a nice place.
But it's true. Even I always say to people, in my previous life when I had a real job, I used to work for an American company, and I never, because I grew up in the southwest of France, and probably it was the same for you. I just stayed in the southwest of France when I was young. It's kind of like I guess people in California. They don't really. You've got the mountains, you've got the sea. I had no need to go anywhere else in France, and it's only when I worked for an American company that I actually travelled around France and discovered areas that I'd never been to. Right, and it is. Of course, compared to America, such a small place, but it is such a different cultural place from one part to France to the other. The architecture, the resource, of the areas. But I'd also, my experience living in what is a remote part of France is that the actual infrastructure is really good. Like the hospitals, the schools, etc. Even in the countryside, it is pretty good. And I think that's why France is a relocation destination rather than just a holiday destination.
Yeah, and I was with my family for 3 weeks on holidays in the States last summer. And what strikes me most is in France, everything that is small is great. We take a small coffee in our small car, and we are small. And in the States, wow, everything is big and it's huge. You have such diversity, but in France you have the same diversity, but it's more compact.
Yeah.
So in 2 hours of French train to TGV, you can be almost anywhere quite rapidly.
And it is wonderful. Géraud, who's our chartered accountant, came up from Aix-en-Provence for 3 hours to Paris. I took the fast train from London, 2.5 hours. France is really well connected. I think it's other feature that often is overlooked is that some of my US viewers are kind of, when they move into France, they think, oh, I need to learn the language, which of course is true. The more that you do, you're going to integrate. But France is really well connected with the rest of Europe. So, if you're American, you're missing speaking English, you can get to London in 2 hours from Paris, right? It's so convenient. And I think people forget that, there's always a way of going back to an English-speaking world.
Yeah, and even in France, the Aquitaine has been connected to the British kingdom for centuries before. So there still has been for a very long time. There is a tradition of British or English-speaking communities there. It's not decades, it's centuries of traditions, and people are used to have English people in those areas. If you go in Sarlat in summer, I would say it's as if you were going in the south of Portugal. In the south of Portugal, you hear a lot of French people speaking during the holidays. Well, if you go to the Gers or to Sarlat during the holidays, you will hear a lot of English speakers and American speakers.
Yeah. And I think, the French are still very welcome. In fact, I can say this because I'm British, or be precise, I'm Scottish, but born in the Gers, right? But it is something that people worry about, this integration side of things, this emotional side of the move. And I think in general, people are still extremely welcoming, especially to Americans. I would argue probably more so to Americans than they are to people from the UK, but that's maybe the way that I see it as somebody coming from the United Kingdom originally. But in general, with all of this technology that you're going to be providing with these new services, one question I guess that I would have that comes across an awful lot from our viewers is, in terms of selecting a region, what would you do in terms of once you've used your tool to find the best region matcher, you're then going to have a list of properties that are going to be adapted to that region area, but you don't know exactly where they are. You're then going to get in touch with the local real estate agent, right? The Green Acres doesn't facilitate that.
On Green Acres, the website, you will have on a map.
You've got your map.
All the listing of properties. You can go on the details of.
And you contact the agent.
And you contact the agent, but you know precisely where the
house is.
Where the house is. So
wow.
It's being displayed on the map, and
that's totally free and on your website.
Yes, exactly. So
cool.
The idea is that you have the full MLS being displayed.
Yep.
On the Green Acres map, and when you are entering your filters and your condition and saying, I want to be close to a golf course, okay, I want to be not far from the sea, and I want to be also at the same time not far from the mountains. So here it will draw you something near Biarritz, because in France you can be close to the sea and close to the mountain and do some surfing if you want, but that's Biarritz. And it will it will display the houses on the map in that region for you.
Sorry for interrupting this podcast, but if you're watching this and you haven't yet liked and subscribed, please do so now. And second thing is, if you're thinking about moving to France and you want to have a free consultation with us today, don't forget to click in the description box below and book your free consultation with one of our specialists. And is that the only sort of tools that are being developed? Are there going to be other things? So what you plan? Because you're a tech guy, right? This is a tech company really as well.
We have many plans, but I'm not
sure. You can't say all of them.
I can't say everything. Fair enough. What I can add is that regarding this search, we are looking at how we can integrate also a filter by nationality.
Okay.
Meaning I'm an American buyer. Okay, I want to buy where I want at least to see where other American buyers are looking. And we have that information. So typically, you could appreciate to meet other people from the same nationality as you. And so that's why we will add this filter.
There's a connection thing there. You know, I get this from clients a lot. It's sometimes just one person that you might know in that area. That's why our YouTube is so popular.
Yeah.
Because people identify to one person that's in Bordeaux, that's in Albi, that's in...
And I don't know if we are going to develop that feature, but that's something I would dream to develop. I would like to develop in French, I have a name for it, the Apéro des Nouveaux.
Okay.
And in Google help me translate that in the new brew.
Yeah, the new brew. Well, I guess it's like this idea of whoever's there.
Yeah.
The new people can meet and mingle.
The idea would be, I don't know, it's difficult to implement, but I'm looking at how to do that.
I thought of region ambassadors.
Yeah.
You know, so
you just arrive, you say, I buy my house thanks to Green Acres. Okay, tell us what you are interested in. And you can subscribe to the service. So the next time someone from your nationality or with the same interest as you is coming to the country, to the same house or to the same region, then you get a notification, hey, Richard bought a house in Le Gers, thanks to Green Acres, and he is making the new brew, so he will welcome you at his house and you can have a drink with him. And this will allow you to get connected with
it's so important.
all the people that share the same interest or have the same cultural interest as you have. So that's the kind of things where I would dream to launch, and the question is how to do that operationally. And last main project we are working on is a new exhibit that we want to launch next year. Even Richard, you are not aware of it.
Yeah.
We want to launch the exhibition Living Paris, to help people from Paris to go to the countryside or to other countries.
Leaving Paris,
Living Paris. And so the idea is that it will be a place where you will meet experts that will give you advices to help you go abroad, because as you are aware and as you visitors, followers are aware, it's not just about finding the right property. What counts also is enjoy your life there. And for this, you might need help to handle to remove all the hurdles, the visa, the taxation, and on all this, you need experts. And so that's where we are also moving on. And that's why I'm happy to start a partnership with you, Richard, and French Connection HCB, which is at Queenacres, we are so far only a portal. We only operate online, but we know that people want sometimes more. They need to have better advice, specialized advice. And there is no way I'm going to be a tax expert one day.
Yeah, sure.
And I know you are one, and you have also a law firm to help the visitors. And so we are working in that direction to find the right partners to
I'm very humbled by the selection, because I'm sure many people would like to and will have approached you in the past, and it's it's such a cool thing for us, because I think we're very much aligned in, we want the client experience to be the best possible. That's what will keep us alive, because there are competitors, there are movements, economic, socio-economic influence, AI, the things that we've been discussing. But I think the human aspect and this connection to people and wanting to create value in whatever we do is something that definitely I find that we share, and it's exciting, to see where we can take this, because I think that's what people are looking for. It's still this human connection, real life advice. It's kind of, we take it for granted, but the things that we know that others would want to have. That's why our YouTube channel as well, I think, is so successful. But yeah, thank you, Benoît, for your trust. That's for sure. But before we finish, one thing that I'd love, and I'm sure our viewers would like to understand, because we shared a bit as well together. But what was your journey like of creating this business? Your background is in engineering.
I started as an engineer at the French telco company, which was called France Telecom, and now Orange, and I was also in the R&D sector. And even though I have done good studies in French engineering schools, the same that the founder of Mistral AI, by the way.
Okay.
We were plenty of them in Orange. So I wanted to launch my company. And so that's start to date, it was 20 years ago. And
you come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Exactly. My father is an entrepreneur. My grandfather is an entrepreneur. We are 5 boys and 1 girl, and I think yes, 4 out of the 5 are entrepreneurs. So that's a family of entrepreneurs. And so during my holidays, I was thinking, what can I launch? What is a new company that I could launch to move from France Telecom? Because
for France Telecom, for those that are watching that doesn't know what it was, it's like kind of the network provider.
It's a telco company. It's a French telco company.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started to look at different business opportunity, and one was interesting was this website. One of my brother had developed a website on property, but he had developed another business and he was very successful on that other business. And idea was, is there still something to do on classified on the internet about real estate? When I started, you had already plenty of internet portals at that time, many competitors already being specialized on the foreign custom. And my question, it was in 2004, so it will make you laugh, but I was thinking, isn't it too late to launch a new business on the internet in 2004? And so I called the real estate agent in my region, in the southwest of France, and I saw there that there was no room anymore for generalist website unless you had big pockets, but I started with 7,000 euro. at the time. So that's all I had. But there was a place for a specialist. And as my family is from the Southwest, as I'm used to the foreign custom in France, that's where I took this niche market and say, I'm going to operate that there. And after 1 week of holidays, I had done one customer, and I was very happy, very proud.
Yeah.
And I had done the calculation that with 50 weeks, I would earn as well as an engineer on the French telco company. So I'd drop my job and lunch.
Wow.
And so that's how it started. And
now 20 years on?
20 years on, we have 2,000 real estate agencies or networks working with us.
Wow.
So sometimes...
So the largest network in
yes,
France.
when I say a network, it's because, for example, we count for one a network that has 5,000 agents.
Yeah, like Legate or...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have...
and does everyone list with you? Like there's all of these...
We don't work with all the real estate agents in France because many of them are telling us, in my portfolios, there is no classified that are of interest for foreign buyers.
Okay.
If you are an American buyer, even if you want to buy in Paris, you don't want to buy anywhere in Paris. There are some parts in Paris, I would not recommend you to buy there. So the real estate agent there knows that in the end he will not sell to a foreign buyer, so he won't advertise at Green Acres. But mainly, all the real estate agents that works with foreign buyers, they do work with us. Most of them.
So pretty much everything. Yeah. But there's a slight filter that's done by them eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also the interest, which is that if you come to the website, you are not polluted by property that are of no interest for you. And
so here in Paris is the head office?
Yes. That's our only office. We have some remote workers in foreign countries, being Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Greece. Before, precisely here where we stand, we had our sales service. Okay. It was in Paris, but it was difficult to have to find good salespeople, and it's a tough job. So in Paris, and Paris is expensive, and we find it really easy and more convenient also for people to work fully remotely after the COVID.
So there, when we're saying sales, they're selling to agents that are going to advertise. Because to be clear to the audience, your service is completely free for the user.
Exactly.
And you're adding, your technology is getting better every day so that the user experience is...
Yeah. We need to have the inventory in the different countries, and to have that, we need to be in contact with our clients, which are the real estate agents.
So you mentioned about areas that you wouldn't recommend in Paris. Yeah. What's Benoît Galy's favorite area of France?
That's where I'm living. In France, the winner will always be Villeneuve-sur-Lot.
Will it?
No, in a way, if you put it like that, my parents went to Paris when I was 11.
Okay.
And I've always missed the countryside there.
Yeah.
And I'm still living in Paris, but I've done my job of helping people to go back to where I was when I was when I was 10. So my job is to sell the others the dream I have, the life I had and I missed when I was 10. So that's my rose button.
Well done, because you're doing a good job of helping people find their relocation areas, relocation or second homes, right? Because
that depends. That depends of the nationality. That depends of the context. We have many people that are relocating, and we don't have stats exactly, but I would say it's 50% split on the Green Acres website. We have many French buyers that are relocating, and the notion of secondary house is even for the French market not that obvious, because when you retire and start to live full-time in the countryside, you can still declare your primary house like the one you had in Paris, and sometimes people are selling it, so it depends.
Remote working is something that's happening. People are retiring
you
early.
have people retiring partially, even when people are relocating. It could be to take to get retired, but sometimes they keep a job or a company.
Well, most of our US clients, they're 65 years old, they're retiring, but they're still contracting for. That's when they make their money, right? It's actually they're now the kind of experienced people that can do contract work and that can be trusted to work from home as well. So it's definitely a big thing. Benoît, last thing. So you mentioned the favorite area, Villeneuve-sur-Lot. What other things would you, in all of your 20 odd years of experience, what tips would you give our viewers? Obviously use Green Acres.
Yeah, of course.
First and foremost, right?
I do believe it. So I need to. That's what I tell to my team. I need to believe in my product. So make it work well.
And by the way, for the viewers that can't see, there will be some behind the scenes views of the office here in Montparnasse. But Benoît, I think, from what I've seen, your leadership skills and the way that you run the company, you're so involved still in this, right? This is really still your daily meetings and everything is you. So
we it's shared with the team, but I'm still very involved in the company day to day.
And I think that's why it's successful.
I mean, in the end, what counts, and we were speaking about that earlier, what counts is the execution. Having an idea is great, but if you don't operate well, you can forget about your grab.
And the world is so competitive and moves so quickly today.
And so sorry, I forgot
the top tips. Top tips. So, what other than using Green Acres, what would you say?
You asked me a question.
Rent before you buy? Would you rent before you buy? Because if you say
that's what you taught me. That was important for your custom to rent before you buy. So I have to think about that for the future.
And I want you to build a rental portal. So this is where I'll get there, guys. I'm going to get there.
I will make a credit to Richard when I will have that functionality.
Maybe soon. I've nearly got him over lunch, but he was drinking green tea, so I couldn't get him no red wine.
No, so the first recommendation is come and visit. I wouldn't buy a home without having seen the countryside, without having what we are used to say here at Green Acres is we are selling a house that is inside a cultural environment, and we sell as much a cultural environment as the house. And you have to come to see it. So that's why it's a rental service, maybe a first step. I wouldn't buy a house without visiting it, unless you are very rich and you don't care about your money. But
and it's so important moving forwards because properties don't sell as quick, probably. I don't have these stats, but I'm guessing the American market, the buying process is shorter, right? You can just buy and sell your house within a day, really. In France, it's longer.
And if I would take the example of an American buying in France. If you don't fall in love with the country, if you allow me the expression, you miss the point. You have to come and feel the air, the atmosphere. Do you really like it? It's not Emily in Paris. It's not a TV show. French people are great. They are I hope better than the image that we gave in the Emily in Paris show, and more welcoming. But that's the reality. It's an important act. Buying a property is not.
It's not going to sell as quick. That's what I was making.
You are not going to say Amazon, take back. It does not suit my needs. So first recommendation would be to come and visit. And second, and that's why we are here, is find the right advisors because it's complex, and I would say
there's so many these days as well that are popping up because clearly, I take it as
we French people have a problem compared to the American people. We are very, very kind of legislation and rules, and we have many of them in France. And if you want to live the dream, but just the dream, you need to have people helping you and handle that because...
or at least the quality and advice. And that's, I take it as a compliment, but we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years, huge amounts of people that are a lot smaller than us in terms of business trying to replicate, or actually bigger companies that are kind of shifting their their whole things to do what we do, like literally copying, pasting what French Connection does. And the issue, the big fear I have is that it's very hard to do what we do. You know, we've had to do it, just like you.
I look at the business
so hard.
And, of course, when
it's
I look
not
at
just doing the paperwork, it's managing 70 clients every month we help move to France these days. So, you know, the technology, as you know, your investment is so much to keep that volume of things working.
And
that's the hard part.
If you want to be good at one thing, you have to stay focused. And that's why we don't provide the service by ourselves, because I've seen you operate and I was amazed by the complexity and all the know-how that you have instinctively. I'm a tech guy. There is no way I will know all the subtleties of the French law. And I would say I have no interest in it on my side. So if the people watching us are like me and they have no interest in,
thank you.
You have people that are good at that, and that's why.
And it's managing it as well. You know, it's manage that emotional thing, but also the volume. As you know, like you can't just have a little website anymore, right? You've got to have 20, 30 developers to keep the whole thing running.
And definitely, I don't want to have at Greenacre someone asking me, "Oh, do I need a visa for my pet?" Because I have no idea of the answer.
That's how I sold it, guys. I sold it on the pet assistance.
I said, "Oh my god,
definitely, yeah." Okay.
What a job! You are crazy.
Okay, of all of the that was it. Hey, Benoît, I think we've had a great insight to Green Acres. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, and hopefully our viewers have enjoyed. We'll of course put a link for those that don't know Green Acres in the descriptions below. There's loads of stuff that we're going to be developing together over the next coming months. So new services, exclusive service that we'll have for Green Acres users. And you'll be able to find those. We'll publish more on those. Maybe rental property services once I've managed to convince him that this is something that needs to be done, and hopefully even shows across the USA and come into you guys so that we can actually bring information and show, you know, what's available, because I think that's a key thing. People want to see us
fantastic,
as well. Yeah, all good stuff. Benoît,
thank
you so much. Again, guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to find out more about moving to France, don't forget to book your free consultation by using the link in the description and the comment box below.